I'm Peck.
I'm Chris.
We have a
Hello.
little special quick hit one for you. I mean, we have to talk about it because it is pretty significant. Um, I gotta be honest, I picked Triple H to do something very odd, and I figured that he would screw up and book Lesnar and Cena a little differently than it happened. I actually had Lesnar tapping out to an STF and having him ruin the whole, ending the Undertaker streak thing, which was ruined already because it was a horrible idea. But they went a little bit of a different route, and they basically just had, there's not really a good way to put this, beat the living snot out of Cena and win the match in like 10, 15 minutes, if that.
Yeah, I mean it's like one of those one side. Was it a one? I didn't watch it, but I'm guessing it was like a one-sided type fight.
Yeah, I got a text saying, by the way, Lesnar beat Cena. It was 10:50. I said, what do you mean the match is over already? SummerSlam's done? They said, yeah. I said, did someone get hurt? No.
Hmm.
He just straight up murdered him.
Yeah, so you wonder if that's. I mean, because he did this before though. At
Not
that
for a world title.
wasn't it? They wrestled at that Extreme pay-per-view at one time.
They
Didn't
wrestled 25 minutes and Cena won that match.
Oh
That's
wow.
why it's so confusing.
He got beaten to a bloody pulp on that, and that was good for
This one,
like.
there was no blood. He got German suplex 16 times. Now, I admit, I actually had to ask my friend before I went back and watched it. In a row? Or, like, during the course of a match? Now, granted, with other wrestlers, I would not have to ask that question, but with Lesnar, tell me that's not a legitimate question.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing too is like when you look at it. I know he beat him to a bloody pulp at that one pay-per-view, and I think that was
Even though he lost.
yeah. I felt like a lot of like non-Cena people or whatever, like they thought that was like their own personal redemption.
Well, that's the same thing that
Watching
happened
the
with this
crap
one.
beat out of him.
A lot of the comments that I read about this pay-per-view were, thank God he finally got his, but my argument is, if you're a wrestling fan, are you happy with a 10-minute championship match at SummerSlam? Because I'm not.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
No, I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, I don't want you to build up somebody that much every 10 years and have you basically knock him down like a bunch of dominoes in 10 minutes.
I would be thoroughly disappointed.
Yeah.
Um, you pay all that money, but see, is SummerSlam available on pay-per-view now, or is it that network thing? I don't know.
I think you can still get it on pay-per-view, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
They did have a lot of trouble with the streams on PlayStation and the internet, though.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, to me, it's a waste of money. Like even if it's $20, $9,
Well, I mean,
whatever it is.
here's the bad thing. It's only good for the historical content. It's really not good for the current product. I
No.
don't want the pay-per-views. They're awful. I wouldn't pay for them. I don't pay for them.
Yeah, they're almost like $50 now. I mean, like if you didn't have the network or
It's
whatever,
65 for Mania.
I wouldn't pay that at
And
all.
then I watched it tonight. It's like they have no clear direction. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like when America got involved in World War One, you knew it was over. Well, they gave Lesnar the belt. How the hell are they going to possibly book this? I was watching it tonight. They let Paul Heyman get in the ring and talk for 10 straight minutes about Lesnar and the new belt, and that was it. He got out of the ring and left. No challenger showed up. That was it.
Yeah, that's why I just don't watch that product anymore because it never delivers what you want.
No, and I just feel like that's a really weak way to end the pay-per-view. I remember they did that with Batista and Orton. They kind of opened the show with it, and it was like a 10-minute title change at Hell in a Cell. I'm like, what is going on?
Well, was it a good feud this scene? I didn't pay
Well, here's
attention
the
to
thing:
it.
how do you have a feud when a guy doesn't wrestle for 4 or 5 months? There's no real build-up except for the fact that he gets announced the number one contender. Everyone knew he got a title shot at SummerSlam,
Yeah,
but like, how do you build up a feud with a bunch of vignettes? I mean, I understand you can do it, but to me, it's not. I have trouble buying into guys that are there 3 months. To wrestle once every 3 months. I don't like that. You don't
yeah.
either.
Yeah, the part-time wrestlers. I mean,
I mean, I
just
understand. If you need a rating shot that bad that you have to bring back The Rock for that kind of thing or have Lesnar or somebody work that kind of schedule, you're not doing well.
well, that's like
You have no
Hogan.
trust in your current guys.
That's what they did with Hogan in like the early '90s. He kept on having to come back to help get it interesting again because I just feel like a lot of those guys just weren't really catching on. I guess like they hoped.
No, they're not. They cycle up, they cycle down. I mean, all the people they groomed to be, number one contenders, future ones, they have a match with Cena and then they just go right back down the tubes.
Is it you think because they get buried, or they're just not good enough, or they're boring, or they just can't get enough crowd reaction?
I don't think they're given enough of a fair shot, and I think they feel like, well, the first match they have to lose. But then when they do lose, the fans lose interest, saying, well, you should just put the belt on him now. And then it's a year too late when they finally do win the title. And then when they lose it again, people just lose interest.
Well, like Bruno was a champion for a long time, and people loved it.
But here's the thing, that today, in this instant age, you get a lot more weary of long title reigns than you did back then. Because back then, a lot of your only ways to see Bruno was going to live events, and you kind of had to wait for everyone to get their shot to go see Bruno live. Whereas nowadays, you can get on the internet and watch anything, basically. So they kind of feel like it's oversaturation.
Well, do you think they could do it in a way that you'd be interested? Like a year or two as a straight champion, or I think the problem is there's just too many pay-per-views.
I think you need to have some drama. You need to have some close calls. You can't have them involved in a storyline where it's an ownership thing where it just drags on and on and on. I think you need to have some different types of opponents, too. That's the other problem.
Better viable contenders. I mean, there's really no one around.
You need a mix. You can't just fight giants, and you can't just do, 3 matches in a row against the same guy. I think that's what they get sick of. They were famous last year and the year before that for doing Cena versus the same guy like 3 pay-per-views in a row and beating him convincingly every time. Like Alberto Del Rio, it's like, enough, you're not going to win. I don't want to see you anymore.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's hard to comment on a lot of it because I don't watch WWE. I haven't watched a full episode of WWE since 2004, so I couldn't even tell you. Even back then, I could have cared less. It was really, really boring back then for me.
I understand they don't want to chew through every single challenger and have a guy face 12 different challengers at 12 different pay-per-views, but you got to do something.
Well, it gets to the point, too, where, you have to suspend reality with pro wrestling. But in a logical sense, it makes sense for Lesnar to be the champion for all time because he's a UFC fighter. Who the heck's going to beat him?
And if the main events were quality, you remember the days when there was never a main event match under 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I've seen 8-minute world title matches at pay-per-views. What the hell is that?
I don't understand. I think it's bad booking.
I don't care who you're working with. I don't care what the stipulation is. Stretch it out. Do something. We don't want you in this match if you're not going to give us something good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in that. I mean, that's like that sloppy booking that won Mania. There was like the world title match was like the first match.
Well,
and one was a 60-second match.
They were trying to downplay the world heavyweight title, and now it's gone completely. There aren't 2 belts anymore. Lesnar just has his own belt.
So they combined it, huh?
Basically, they just made it the WWE title, and then now he has his own side placards. They ditched the world heavyweight.
I wonder if they'll just do that.
Which is pretty superfluous to begin with anyway. You're the world heavyweight champion. You don't need 2 belts. You need 1.
Yeah. I mean, that was a WCW belt. It always will be to me, but
I just liked it because it gave more people a chance to get a shot at seeing what being a world champion was like, and the belt still meant something because you had all the heritage that they would never recognize.
That's what we need to do a podcast, too, about belts not meaning anything anymore. I mean, that world title match isn't a world title. There's no competitors from other promotions fighting for it. It's
that's
not really
understandable, though, because of contracts and everything. I mean, you talk about suspending reality. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But
I think they should, but that's just me. But yeah, it's a joke.
I think it's just bad booking with how they try to pick the rivalries and everything. I don't like it.
Well, I think it was good they had Lesnar beat Cena because...
But like that? To completely squash your biggest draw?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That's not a good idea.
But it's hard, though, because he's a UFC fighter. Like, that's what he would do. I mean, how can you compete? Who can compete with him? There's no one. I mean, really, when you think about it, who else could beat...
Then why did he have a 500 record going into this match, basically?
I don't know, yeah.
He was like... His record was like 5-4 going into this match. And one of those wins was against The Undertaker, which ended the streak, which made me mad.
Yeah, I mean, he's invincible, really. I mean, the person that's going to give him... I mean... from a logical standpoint, would be like the great Khali or somebody could just put him in a chokehold and kill him.
I've had a lot of moments that have said I'm never going to watch WWE again. But if they have Daniel Bryan come back and beat Brock Lesnar, I will burn all of my old WWE stuff.
Like that underdog story. I don't know. Well, isn't that interesting how far we've come from Mania to now? Like him and Cesaro, just nothing. Well, I mean, he got hurt. That's understandable. But Cesaro, yeah.
Out, his music is now an ambulance, and he has a towel for a turban, and I'm really confused. I thought he was Sandow because he stole his robe, it looked like. I have no idea what's going on.
But they always do that with guys. They push them to the moon, and they give them the shot, and then they just,
I think here's the thing. If you cheer for a mid-carder in WWE, prepare for them to be buried. He's like a DJ that only wants to play what he wants to play.
So they don't have him with Paul Heyman anymore?
No one's with Paul Heyman anymore except
just
Brock
Lesnar.
Lesnar.
I would
like to see him just bring back RVD and do like a hardcore style storyline, have him go for the belt and try it like Night of Champions, even if he loses. You remember he gave Lesnar a good match at King of the Ring?
Yeah, that was cool to see that. I mean, Lesnar now, I mean, I'm guessing they're probably going to keep him champion until Mania.
If they don't, this will be the biggest waste of booking ever. What are they going to do? Who's going to beat him?
Well, I hear they want to make that one guy, that Samoan guy, go at him. I don't see it, but whatever. Um,
I got to be honest. He's awful. I hate that guy.
what's
Roman
it? Oh
Reigns is
yeah,
not. We talked about junk wrestling 2 podcasts ago, where we talked about just the strikes and the kicks and the
I'm so
tackles.
sick of that.
That's all the guy does. He doesn't even use the power bomb anymore. If his power bomb is like the main part of their triple team move, you think he would keep it? No, he has to do a spear. Like he's just a giant version of Edge.
I don't understand that.
He's
Like,
not good. The one that looks like the stripper version of CM Punk with the long hair is not good. And I don't like the twitchy one that looks like Wes Welker either. Although the guy can cut a promo and he's good with his lines. I don't like him either. I don't like Dean Ambrose. Got to be honest. All he does is flail.
yeah, I never really got the Shield thing, but whatever. It's
I like them as a whole. That's the problem. You subtract them, it's like, wow, this isn't that good. It's like me choosing to eat cheese, sauce, and pepperoni independently instead of having them on a pizza. They're not as good individually. They're not.
yeah, it's like a Four Horsemen type of thing where like they are good individually, but they're even better when they're together.
They're really not good individually.
Who, the Horsemen?
No, no, the
Oh
Shield.
yeah, well, it's all about how you book the guys, and the problem with a lot of these guys. I mean, they have a lot of experience, but they don't have enough. I miss the territories. The territories need to come back. That's
Yeah.
the ultimate, proving ground and learning experience.
I mean, it's interesting to see how the whole Lesnar thing goes. It's good comedy to watch him destroy people. Like, I laughed so hard when he faced CM Punk last year. Oh my god, I was on the floor.
Yeah, I mean,
Watching him ragdoll people was hilarious to me because talk about suspending reality. They might actually be trying to do something, and he's just, nope, mm-mm.
it's a really fun time.
It is. Especially if it's a wrestler you hate like Cena. It's just like, yes, he landed
Well,
on his head.
that's
He's
what.
not a good wrestler, so he can't land.
Well, I think Cena's time's kind of starting to fizz out a little bit. They got to find their new Cena. I think
They
that's
had one. They had CM Punk, and they refused to give him the torch.
yeah. I honestly forgot all about CM Punk when I went to the Rumble. I'm like, oh yeah, he's still kind of hanging around, huh? I didn't even know. But I don't pay attention like I guess I should since I talk about it. But um, so you would have booked SummerSlam differently? You think you would have had them like neck and neck like Cena and Lesnar?
No, I just would have had. I mean, you can
More of a
win
fight from Cena?
convincingly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can win convincingly without doing 6 moves.
Well, I mean, so you're saying that like Cena should have put up more of a fight, or is it just
Or
like
just had a longer match. I don't
yeah?
care if you got to crucify him for 10 more minutes. Do something.
Or is it one of those things where they figure, well, they're booking him to be a machine. He's going to beat him quicker. I don't know.
There's so many things they could do, though. I would have liked to seen Kane come back as a monster and try to get revenge for, I don't know, retiring his brother. Something just to legitimize him and Lesnar at the same time.
What's Kane? Is he like Kane?
He's wearing a suit again. He
Uh,
has hair. It's really weird. I didn't even know that happened but apparently they were doing it for like 4 months before I found out. And now I'm really freaked out.
well, they give new light to the character, which is interesting. But really, I mean, I think Kane. The time's come and gone there too. How many times can we
Well,
watch
they're
everybody?
not making new stars though. They're not. I'm sorry, they're not.
Which is amazing to me. That's what they've been known for, is to make stars and new ones and fresh ones to market and make the toys and the
I
shirts
mean,
and all that
let me
stuff.
put it this way: they do make stars. They make ones that everyone knows. Like more people know
Yeah,
who Dolph
household
Ziggler
names.
is than probably AJ Styles, which is a shame. But they don't get to that huge level
The
that they
superstar
did.
level,
Like
yeah.
Batista was never as big as The Rock. Batista was never as big as Cena. Batista was never as big as Lesnar. Like that's the thing, man. That like so many of their guys are north of 30. I
Yeah.
understand that's like common in pro wrestling, but these guys are north of 30.
It's tough. I mean, it's an interesting day and age too. Everything's so different. Um, but yeah, I think they should have gave a little bit more quality and quantity with the John Cena Brock Lesnar match.
Right, because I mean, if it was somebody that was completely unpopular, that no one wanted to be champion, like The Miz, I wouldn't have cared. But like, how many parents went to that show with their kids? Not that we're advocates of the kid fans, because in our opinion they watered down wrestling and make it a lot worse. Like you remember when we made the one kid cry because he was chanting ECW at
Yeah,
in Pittsburgh, and we're like, this isn't ECW, this isn't real.
yeah. This is horrendous.
But yeah, we didn't actually really make the kid cry. We just kind of got some awkward looks from his dad.
They were a weird group. They weren't like fun. It's like it's
Well,
a
no,
wrestling
you can't
show,
have ECW at a big arena. It just doesn't work.
and the fans were like waiting for ECW. That's what they showed up for. I mean, like you could just tell it was in the air, people, and they just could not. No, there's too much of that, kiddie mix in
But the
there.
fact that there were so many Cena supporters there that if you bill something as a fight, you don't want a 10-second knockout, even if it's the UFC, which I like, and I love the other fighter and hate the other one. I want a little bit of drama because these things are essentially our version of plays. They're a violent, male testosterone driven version of plays, but they're presented in a more entertaining venue without the stage and everything else, and they're a little more realistic in some ways. And we didn't get it. We got a squash.
I know. I don't know. I mean, it makes. Sometimes they have like that master plan, but sometimes it just blows them in their face too. Like a lot of their booking.
Well, Triple H, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem. Everything that he has touched has turned to dust lately. He's awful.
Well, I'm sure McMahon's like,
Neither one of them have good ideas. If you heard of all of the bad ideas Vince McMahon has had over the years, well, some of the things that ended up turning out right, and then you hear his ideas for them, you're like, my God, if they would have done this, I would have quit years ago.
well, yeah. I mean, you know, Randy Savage wanted to have a feud with Shawn Michaels in '94. I would have been all for that, but they shot it down. There's a bad move right there. But
McFoley they wanted to call him Mankind the Mutilator permanently. They wanted to
yeah,
give the Undertaker Mankind's mask for the rest of his career when he broke his orbital bone.
wasn't that like Brutus Beefcake's mask too? Did they like recycle that mask like 3 times?
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Or like the concept look of it? Oh
There's
my
only
god,
so much you could do with masks, but yeah, they did.
that's the look there. Yeah. I mean, I'm just interested to see how it'll play out. I guess, but I just don't care.
I'm really not. I gotta be honest, I don't even care. I
Yeah.
like reading the results and laughing, and then watching occasionally so I get some real world input on it, but I'm not happy. Like, I mean, I'm glad Lesnar won, and it's more interesting with him as champion going forward infinitely. But I just don't. It's one of those things where out there, like, who can challenge him? And I'm sure they'll trump up somebody that can, but I'm not going to legitimately think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, WWE is just like, to me, I just read like the results just to talk about it. But, I mean, I just don't watch it. It's so
It
uninteresting.
has ceased to make me happy, and there's no one that I care about. That's the
Yeah.
biggest problem.
Well, it doesn't even remind me of like, it's not even like WWE
It's an
anymore.
entertainment product. It's not
Yeah.
wrestling. That's my biggest problem with it. And the people that are marking out for like every little spot, like I see them go nuts for a between the ropes dive from Daniel Bryan. I'm like, yeah, Shawn Michaels did a top rope moonsault all the way to the outside like 2 years ago, and that mattered a lot more. So I really don't care about your little crappy indie dive.
Yeah, it's like, been there, done that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll
It's just,
never forgive him for training Daniel Bryan. By the way, it's
jeez.
another reason for me to hate Shawn Michaels when I used to love him.
Good God. Well, I want to see I wonder who's like, the next victim for Lesnar. I don't
It's kind
know.
of funny because he's the champion. They have to come to him now, and they have to willingly get eaten.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Whoever
Why
it
would
is,
I
it's going to
care?
be funny.
Yeah, they're gonna get mutilated. It's probably like Mark Henry or somebody like.
Those are the best when it's like somebody like abnormally big, and then he throws them around anyway, and it's like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm entertained.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely entertaining. He's got Paul Heyman with him.
Yeah, which gives him so much more presence than when they try to make him talk. You remember his feud with Heyman when he was a face?
Yeah,
That was
just
hard to watch.
well, it's like when they turn Goldberg bad. I mean, things like just don't work.
They turned
They try
Goldberg
it
bad?
in 2000
Oh,
WCW.
that's why I don't remember. I wasn't watching WCW in 2000.
Well, that's right when like the New Blood angle was crashing and
Oh,
burning.
God, that was horrible. The Millionaires Club and the New Blood.
I like they were getting hot again, but then they screwed it all up, like in typical
Yeah, they lost
WWE
all the
fashion.
money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see where the Lesnar thing goes.
Hopefully, it's good for the fans, but I mean, I really don't care.
I don't think it's going to be that good for the bottom line once he loses the belt.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with these wrestlers now that everyone's just getting too old. And I mean, like you said,
And
they
they're
need.
not making new people.
Yeah, I mean, well, boy, we're in trouble in like 10
Like, I
years.
was really excited about Prince Devitt going to WWE, and then I remembered this is WWE. Triple H doesn't know how to book. He still thinks you're too small. Kevin Steen's going there. He's going to think you're fat and fire you in 2 years. So, like, what am I going to get excited about? These guys being stuck in NXT, me not seeing them for another 3 months. They show up, and then it doesn't really work out, and they're gone in 2 years. Like, what am I? Am I really supposed to have faith in this? No.
Like that Kenta guy, they're never going to make him world
Hey, hope they
champion.
don't. He's awful.
Yeah,
He's a little Japanese Daniel Bryan who also can't wrestle.
I mean, right off the bat, I mean, like those three guys, shame on TNA, I guess, for not trying to pursue him too.
TNA doesn't
But
have any money. They tried to get Prince Devitt. He
yeah,
said no.
well, there you go. I don't know. I just, you
He
know,
teased them and kept going to their shows like, yeah, maybe. No.
well, I just doubt that they're not going to push. I mean, even if they would on a long shot make one of them more world champion, it's not going to be long. It's not going to be the quality that the
TNA
fans
moves so
want.
slow though, and then they randomly change champions too, so they wouldn't do anything like that.
They need to make Robert Roode champion or somebody else that's more legitimate, and have the champion last for a long time. That you want, make it a worthwhile title reign.
Look how many duds we've had. They won from AJ Styles, who was great, to Magnus dud, to
That was bad booking. They
yeah.
could have made him.
He really can't wrestle that well though, honestly. He
Well,
was exposed against Sting, and it only got worse from there.
that was horrendous. That was one of the worst matches I think I've ever seen. It was really
And
bad.
then they went to Eric Young, and then they went to Bobby Lashley. Just when I thought they couldn't hit any lower, they brought back Bobby Lashley, and yeah.
Well, they're giving that lick and a promise of a turnaround, and it's just not going to happen. I have no faith in TNA. That's just me.
But yeah, we'll see where the Lesnar thing goes. I'm Peck.
I'm Chris. Good night.